Frequently asked question video with me on my phone in the intro because it's 2015. That's all my generation does. Hi guys, so I'm back with another video log, and I posted on my Instagram and Facebook, or Instagram and on my last YouTube video, that I was going to do a question and answer for my next video. So I am just going to read off some questions from Instagram and from YouTube in the comment section. And just answer those because there were some quick ones. So I'm just gonna look at them on my phone and then answer them. Do you plan the night before what you're going to have the next day so you can ensure you hit your daily macros, or just the same day since you're used to tracking? What do you recommend? So it kind of varies by day. Typically I eat a lot of the same things every single day. So I don't the day before go in and put everything in for the next day. I track my macros on an app called My Macros Plus, which is available on iPhone and iPad. So I have it on my iPad, which I'm using to film right now, and I have it on my iPhone. So I use that to track. Since I've been tracking now since it's been over 2 years, generally I do not do it the day before. Now, for someone who's new to tracking, I would absolutely recommend doing it the day before because it's easier to plan out your day in advance. And then, especially if you are following a cutting diet or you're trying to lose weight and you really need to stick to specific numbers, it's a good idea to plan out ahead what you're going to eat, so that way you're more likely to stick to it. I absolutely say that. Now, if you have luxury macros, let's say, and you have 400 grams of carbs, well, it's a lot less likely that you're gonna need to go down to the nitty-gritties and details because you have so many extra calories and carbs to work with. So although for some people who have high numbers, it might be difficult to hit those, so maybe it will help you to plan it out. But I would say if you're newer to tracking macros, if you're newer to counting, then yeah, definitely planning in advance the night before, kind of putting your meals in can help you get a rough idea, or maybe even just putting in a couple meals and then the next day those other meals fitting in kind of what sounds good that day. But generally I eat the same sort of things every single day, so I kind of have an idea, since I've been tracking for so long, what will fit in my numbers and what won't. So if I have a higher carb day, I know kind of what I can eat for breakfast, what I can eat for pre-workout, post-workout that's going to fit, since I've been doing it for so long. Next question. Okay, occlusion training. So, people who have seen my training might know that I do blood flow restriction training or occlusion training. And so someone asked, how do you do occlusion training for biceps? How often, how many reps, what kind of reps do you use? So occlusion training you can do for legs or you can do for upper body. And there's only two places that you're going to be wrapping when you, well, first of all, for legs I use knee wrap. And you only wrap here, right above, I don't know if you guys can see, right above your quad, or anything upper body here. There's no other place that you will wrap for blood flow restriction. And to look up more information on this, I look up Dr. Jeremy Leneke. He has done a lot of research on blood flow restriction, so you can actually find articles, find research online. So definitely look that up if you're interested more on blood flow restriction. So typically what I do is I use tourniquets. You can Google them on Amazon. It's like $12 for two medical, I think they're called medical release tourniquets. That's what I use for arms. For legs, I use the knee wraps. So for legs, I do it for hamstrings. I don't do quad. My quads are big enough. I don't do any blood flow restriction for quads, but I do it for hamstrings. I do blood flow restriction for biceps, triceps, shoulders. It's really helpful when you can only use about 20 to 30% of your 1 rep max, maybe if you're battling an injury. So what I do is I wrap at about 80% tightness. Now that's going to vary for each person, and that's kind of subjective to say, but I would say that you want it to be tight enough so you feel a shift in the blood. You can see you should see your vein. Well, maybe some people won't, but at least I know when I wrap it tight enough, I start to see my vein come out, and I can feel the shift in like I can feel a shift in my arm. It's not tight where I'm cutting off the circulation, but it's not loose enough where I don't feel that shift. So then what I do is I complete 30 reps, 30 seconds rest, then 3 sets of 15 with 30 seconds rest in between. And sometimes I superset, so a lot of times I superset triceps and biceps for blood flow restriction. So I'll do curls and tricep push downs. I also do shoulder press and then lat pull downs. But if you're doing lat pull downs, you'll still wrap it here. If you're doing shoulder press, you'll still wrap it here. Anything upper body, wrap here. You can also do chest work. For legs, you always want to wrap it right above your quad. And so same thing, I do one set of 25 to 30 reps followed by 3 sets of 12 to 15 with 30 seconds rest in between. How do you find jeans that fit? Well, it's difficult. Usually when I find jeans that fit my legs, they are way too big in my waist. So I don't really wear jeans. So good question. I'd love to know. Anyone have suggestions? And leave them in the comments. I usually wear just leggings and Nike Pros, even in the winter. And then I just wear sweatpants over them. Yeah, I'm not fancy. And then shorts. I wear lots of shorts. And yeah, so just leggings. That's all I wear really. So what do I do for mobility? I do a lot. So people have asked me how I stay generally injury free. I do battle injuries. Everyone who trains heavy is going to be battling injuries and is always going to be working just to prevent little tweaks, because when you're lifting heavy and you're pushing your body in any sport, I mean, if you talk to any athlete, you're going to be battling injuries. So, or you're going to be at least, you know, there's going to be things that you have to deal with. So something that I am huge on is mobility. I haven't posted a lot about it on my Instagram, but I maybe could do a future video here on YouTube about more mobility and kind of what I do to warm up. It's a long process. So my workouts take about 2 to 2.5 hours, and I'd say an hour of that is warming up and cooling down. So maybe you guys didn't want to hear that. So typically what I do when I first get to the gym is I warm up on the elliptical or something like that for about 10 minutes just to get like my shoulders loose, my legs loose, my upper body just kind of to get moving, get the blood flowing. And then I do a lot of stretching. So I start out, I kind of foam roll my entire body just a little bit. I don't do a ton of foam rolling before I go to squat and deadlift, because I think it can actually be more of a hindrance if you're like really doing an intense like lacrosse ball releases or foam rolling. I save a lot of that for after I work out. So I do that for about 5 minutes or so, and then I go through stretches. So I'm a big believer in 2-second hold stretches. I do a lot of shoulder stretches because I have a shoulder injury from 2 years ago. I have to. So I do a lot of, an example of this would be like a shoulder mobility stretch. So I hold for 2 seconds, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, and I do that 10 times, and then I do it the opposite way. And then I do some shoulder stretches like this, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. So a lot. There's a lot I do. So I do that for shoulders. And then for legs, I do hamstring stretches, I do quad stretches, I do hip stretches, but always 2-second holds. The massage therapist that I go to, he saves me. I go about once every month or so, which now I'm looking at the calendar because I have an appointment coming up. So I'm glad I thought of that because I have an appointment next week that I almost forgot about. So he really is the one who emphasizes the 2-second holds, because after 3 seconds your muscle actually starts to tighten up. So every single stretch that I do, there's a couple exceptions that stretches that I like to just do static holds for. I hold for 2 seconds and release and repeat 10 times. So someone asked, I follow you on my macros. I was wondering how you portion sizes. How do you measure 2.6 slices of bread? So if you follow me on my macros, which you can, my username's KDN100, Sometimes you'll notice in my entry I have like 2.5 slices of bread or something. So a lot of times when you go to measure a piece of bread, I weigh everything out on a scale, on a kitchen scale. So if I weigh, a piece of bread is 34 grams, and I know this by heart because I eat so much bread. A lot of times you might measure out one piece of bread and it's actually 40 grams. So what I do is I take 40 divided by 34 and then just on my calculator real fast, and then I enter that in my macros. So like 40 grams, for example, 40 divided by 34 would be 1.17. So then I enter 1.17 pieces of bread in my macros, not just one, because a lot of times the serving sizes on the side of the, let's say, a loaf of bread, well, the slice in the actual, you know, it can vary because it's not perfect. So, and then for example, like if I have 2 slices of bread, let's say I measure it out and it's 78 grams. So 78 divided by 34, that's 2.29 grams, or 2.29 slices. So that's the reason I do that. Do I take any rest days? Yes, right now I'm not, because I'm in competition season and I really have had to focus on my accessory work a lot. So I have my powerlifting days and then I have my accessory days, but none of my days are like crazy long workouts or anything. So right now I just kind of prefer to break it up over 7 days as opposed to take a full rest day. I do take rest days. I usually take one a week, but currently I'm not, just because of I don't want to lower my food. I typically have to lower carbs and fats by about 20% on complete rest days, and I just don't want to, so I'd rather just break up my training over 7 days. How old am I? I am 23 years old, and a frequently asked question, how tall am I? I am 5'7". How much cardio do I do? How much cardio do I do? I do not do any cardio. I came from a place of doing a lot of cardio several years ago, and now I've transitioned. Last year during prep, I did 2 days of HIIT, was my max. We actually cut that down to 1 the last few weeks of prep, and now I do none. All right, YouTube questions. What's in my jug of drugs? Branched chain amino acids. It's Extend. I love Extend. So then that can go into my next question, because someone was asking me about what supplements do I take. All right, want to see my supplements I take? Literally, this is it. Whey protein. Honestly, I get free, if I get free samples, that's the only time I eat anything except de novo. Keep this out on my counter because I eat a lot of it. I think in my macros, it has like my most frequently eaten foods. I think this is like my second most or third most frequent. So de novo, whey, Extend, that's branched chain amino acids. I drink them first thing in the morning, between meals, pre or intra-workout. They help with my hunger a little bit during my workout, post-workout, and then in between meals at night. Love kiwi strawberry Extend. I'm not sponsored by any of these people, so I'm telling you the truth. And bars. This is Combat Crunch Bar. I love Quest bars. Literally, those are the supplements I take. And sometimes a pre-workout. I've actually been using, I really like this one recently. I've been using De Novo Nutrition's Utopia with an N in parentheses, Utopian. I've been using that recently, and I really like it. Not currently taking creatine. I should. I've been lazy. But that's it. So really, I am very minimal when it comes to supplements. Hard work and consistency. That's what I supplement with. More about supplements. I just showed you guys. Oh, and also this Crystal Light Liquid. Does that count? I drink that stuff like, oh. Caffeine is my favorite supplement. Monsters. So I hope that was helpful for some of you guys. Some frequently asked questions that I get. I'm going to try to edit this down so it's not terribly long. So thanks guys for watching, and I will see you soon.